Hare Krishna, Vinod Manjari speaking, and we are discussing from this transcendental book, Bhagavad Gita As It Is, which is available to you in any ISKCON center, ISKCON, ISKCON. We are a mission that is dedicated to spreading transcendental knowledge, the knowledge by which we can overcome material consciousness and enter into our spiritual consciousness. So we are reading from the introduction, and this is the continuation of the introduction. So far we had discussed about the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita, in what mood we should accept it. And we discussed that just like we take a medicine and we follow the prescription of the physician, in that way we also must take the instructions, directions from Krishna himself, instead of concocting and speculating our own interpretations. We take it as it is, directly from Sri Krishna, the speaker of the Bhagavad Gita. We also mentioned about the lineage of teachers, that this great epic spiritual wisdom is brought to us, that it's not a concoction, it's not a speculation. There is a lineage of teachers who have are self-realized souls who have understood the philosophy, and it is a line of teachers who are authorities of Vedic knowledge. Just like we go to a university and we understand from the lecturers, and it is an authorized university, or we go to a doctor who is an authorized doctor, we don't go to a quack. And the same way, we understand this Vedic knowledge from those who have understood it. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshanam. So those who are tattvadarshi, they are the have seen the truth, have understood the Vedic knowledge. So one must inquire from a person like that, render service to him, understand submissively, means not challenging, not that we don't ask questions, we ask questions, but not in challenging ways, following some respectful protocol. So this is what we learnt yesterday. And when we understand that this Vedic knowledge has been handed down through the lineage of teachers, and that so that just encapsulated what we learnt in the previous session, that this knowledge is coming from the Sun God and is handed down, well, actually from Krishna, who gave it to Lord Brahma, who gave it to his Narada and handed it down through the Sun God. And this yoga system, which is understood to be a science of the soul, is handed down to us. So let's continue where we left off. And here we are coming to the point where Arjuna, Krishna is giving this knowledge again to Arjuna, because he says, you are my devotee and friend. So we understand from this that Krishna and Arjuna are in a direct relationship. There's a connection there. Just like we are connected to one another. How? In the material world, we are connected through love, through a relationship. So in the same way, Krishna and Arjuna are connected. This is the meaning of yoga. Yoga means to link, to connect. So they are connected in a direct relationship. So now we're discussing what are the types of relationships that we can be connected through Bhakti Yoga with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in 5 different ways. Let's read. One may be a devotee in a passive state. One may be a devotee in an active state. One may be a devotee as a friend, as a parent, as a conjugal lover. So these are the types of melos or rasas or relationships that are authorized. So we can be in a neutral kind of mode with Krishna, just like we have neighbors. We may not necessarily be very friendly with them. We say hello to them as we pass or we see them. They're acquaintances, but we are neutral. We're not very overly involved in their life. So that you can have that kind of a relationship. It can be in an active state, in the mood of servitude, just like Hanuman was a great servant. He was in that mood of serving, dasya rasa, of serving the great Supreme Personality. We can be as a friend, like Arjuna is Krishna's friend, the cowherd boys, gopas. As a parent, like Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, they are in a parental loving exchange, rasa. Or one can be as a lover. Krishna can be your beloved. And let's read on. Arjuna was in a relationship with the Lord as a friend. Of course, there is a gulf of difference between this friendship and the friendship found in the material world. This is a transcendental friendship, which cannot be had by everyone. Of course, everyone has a particular relationship with the Lord, and that relationship is evoked by the perfection of devotional service. So here we can see that these relationships are not ordinary, they're transcendental, beyond material concept. Material means to have yourself in the center, I, me and mine concept. This is the nature of the material world. My house, my car. You are at the center, your ego, your feeling of proprietorship, ownership, doership is there in the central. But spiritual means nothing for yourself, but you are completely, unconditionally, unalloyed for love for that person. Love for love's sake. Service for service sake. We do not think of ourselves, our happiness, what will make the beloved happy or the friend happy. This is transcendental. There's no tinge of material contamination in that relationship. So, so we all have a relationship. Everyone has a particular relationship. We may not be aware of the intricacies of it. However, just like the fire, the analogy of the fire and the spark is connected to the bigger fire. In this way, we are part and parcel of Krishna. So we are parts of the whole. So the part is always related to the whole. Just like the electrics in the house, the electrical connection. If it's disconnected, or if the fire spark goes on the ground, it will be extinguished. So the process of yoga is to always connect to that divine consciousness. So let's read on. But in the present status of our life, we have not only forgotten the Supreme Lord, but we have forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord. So you can see that we're so lost in our own I, me and mine ego concept, ahankara, the false ego. I am this body. I am American, African, Indian. I am a husband, a wife. We're so enveloped in that we have forgotten the relationship with the whole. Every living being out of many, many billions and trillions of living beings has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally. That is called Swarupa, spiritual identity. At the moment we are in material identity. But by the process of devotional service, one can revive that Swarupa, and that stage is called Swarup Siddhi, perfection of one's constitutional position. So Arjuna was a devotee, and he was in touch with the Supreme Lord in friendship, in Sakyaras, friendship. Now we're coming to an important bit. How did Arjuna accept the Bhagavad Gita? Very important, because we are students of the Bhagavad Gita, so we must learn from Arjuna how he accepted the Bhagavad Gita. How Arjuna accepted this Bhagavad Gita should be noted. His manner of acceptance is given in the 10th chapter. So there's a few references to that. Arjuna, I'll read the Sanskrit, then we'll read the meaning of this chapter 10, the main part. Arjuna uvacha param brahma param dhama pavitram paramam bhavan purusham saswatam divyam adi deva majam vibhum ahustvam rishayet sarve devarshi naradastata asito devalo vyasa swayam cheva bravisi me sarvam etadritam manye yan mam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva nadanava. Arjuna said, this is the meaning, you are the supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode and purifier, the absolute truth and the eternal divine person. You are the primal God, transcendental and original, and you are the unborn and all-pervading beauty. All the great sages like Narada, Asita, Devala and Vyasa proclaim this of you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me, O Krishna. I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the gods nor the demons, O Lord, know thy personality. So very important this is. We can see here he's described Krishna as the purifier, the supreme abode. Anything in contact with Krishna, because he is pure, becomes spiritualized, becomes transcendental. So he's described him in such beautiful words. You are the absolute truth, the eternal divine person. Transcendental, original. And how is he all of those things? The great sages, Narada, Asita, Devala and Vyasa proclaim this. And you yourself are declaring it. So after hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme, Arjuna accepted Krishna as Param Brahman, Supreme Brahman. Every living being is Brahman, but the Supreme Living Being or the Supreme Personality is the Supreme Brahman. So we are parts of Krishna, like the fire, the sparks. So we are qualitatively the same as him, just like the drops of water in the ocean are qualitatively the same as the ocean, but they are not the ocean. In quality, they are the same, but not in quantity. So in the same way, just like jewelry we wear, the earrings, the gold is still gold. It is qualitatively the same, but it is not quantitatively the same as the bullions, the gold bullions that we get, the gold mine, in the gold mine. So here we can understand what Arjuna means, that we are all Brahman, we are all eternal spiritual consciousness in our constitutional position. We are that. We're spirit soul, but you are the supreme Brahman. Supreme meaning no one is greater or equal to him. Qualitatively we are the same, but quantitatively we're not. Just like he's infinite, we are minute. So here we can see how he's explaining. Let's read on. Param Dharma means he is the supreme rest or abode of everything. Pavitram means that he is pure, untainted by material contamination. Purusham means that he is the supreme enjoyer. Divyam, transcendental. Adidevam, the supreme personality of Godhead. Ajam, the unborn. And Vibhum, the greatest, the all-pervading. So obviously Krishna, he doesn't take birth in the way we take birth. He appears in his causeless mercy to destroy the demoniac forces and to protect the devotees. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya. So he comes to destroy adharma and to take care of his devotees. Pavitranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritan sambhavami yuge yuge. He comes again and again, every through the ages, to give this religious dharma. So Krishna, he doesn't take birth. He's unborn, actually. He appears to us as being coming on this earth, but he is unborn because he is not bound by the material laws of karma. We are bound by our karmas to take birth, to bear the suffering or the reward of our actions, action, reaction, karma. So here we can see that he's divyam, he's transcendental, he's above material laws of nature. He's the rest or abode of everything. So ultimately, in the dissolution of the universe, the end of time, everything rests and goes back in him. He is the abode and rest. Now, one may think that because Krishna was the friend of Arjuna, Arjuna was telling him all this by way of flattery. But Arjuna, just to drive out this kind of doubt from the minds of the readers of Bhagavad Gita, substantiates these praises in the next verse when he says that Krishna is accepted as the supreme personality of Godhead, not only by himself, but by the authorities like the sages, Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasadeva, and so on. These are great personalities who distribute the Vedic knowledge as it is accepted by all acharyas, teachers. Therefore, Arjuna tells Krishna that he accepts whatever he says to be completely perfect. Sarvam etad ritam manye. I accept everything you say to be true. Arjuna also says that the personality of the Lord is very difficult to understand and that he cannot be known even by the great demigods, devatas, Shiva, Brahma. They cannot know him fully, completely. He is so difficult to understand, cannot easily be known. They get bewildered when they see Krishna. The Brahma Leela, where he got bewildered when he saw this little boy. He thought, how can he be the supreme? And then the whole pastime where he hid to test Krishna, he hid the cowherd boys in the caves. And then Krishna expanded himself into all the cowherd boys simultaneously. Then Lord Brahma realized his mistake. So even the great demigods get bewildered from time to time. That's how difficult Krishna is to understand. What to speak of us? This means that the Lord cannot even be known by great personalities greater than human beings. The demigods, they have been ordained and given that job to look after the universes, provide rain, provide sun, all the amenities, and they're therefore on a superior level to us. Even they cannot know Krishna to full extent. So how can a human being understand Sri Krishna without becoming his devotee? This is so important. We don't mean sentimentally, oh, I love Krishna, I'm his devotee. It means, love means to do something for the person you love, to serve him. Not just say lip service. Just like in a family, if the child and the father just keep saying, I love you, but does nothing for the child, and the child does nothing for the father, there's no relationship. So this is so important. This is personalism, not impersonalism. In impersonal concept of liberation, the impersonalist jnanis, they meditate to get out of material suffering because they've recognized This body brings suffering. This ego brings suffering. So they want to get out. And they want negative liberation, meaning they merge into this impersonal aspect of Godhead. But that is a negative liberation. It's not positive. It's not in a relationship. They're just suspended there in the light, merged. No individuality, no identity, merged into the, just like a water pot gets merged into the ocean when you break it. So in this way, the impersonalist jnanis, they achieve this liberation. But here, so important for us to understand that the person who can understand Krishna is the devotee. How? Because he is in a relationship of servitude. And when Krishna grants his mercy, that person can know and understand Krishna. So this is how we understand how important it is to be a devotee in a relationship. Srila Prabhupada in his purport in the introduction put so much labor on this point and emphasis to how to accept the Bhagavad Gita. Not whimsically, not concocted, not speculative, but through the proper channels and authorities, and also in a mood of service, devotee, relationship, personalism. So I hope that's explained. I think what we'll do is we'll just read one more paragraph. It's so beautiful, this. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in a spirit of devotion. One should not think that he is equal to Krishna, and should not think that Krishna is an ordinary personality or even a very great personality. Lord Shri Krishna is the supreme, at least theoretically, according to the statements of Bhagavad Gita or the statements of Arjuna. The person who is trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita, at least theoretically, we should therefore at least theoretically accept Shri Krishna as the supreme personality, and with that submissive spirit we can understand the Bhagavad Gita. Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita in a submissive spirit, it is very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita because it is a great mystery. So you know that there's so many commentaries of Bhagavad Gita in India, even outside of India. People have tried to make commentaries and understand Bhagavad Gita, but it is a great mystery. It's not easy to understand Krishna without being in a spirit of devotion and accepting, at least theoretically, put your doubts on hold, as it were. You know, there's a word for it in philosophy, where we suspend our doubts. I've forgotten what it was. I'll find out. You can suspend your doubts momentarily to at least have the spirit of devotion and theoretically accept Krishna as the supreme. Then, in that submissive spirit, asking questions just like Arjuna did, then the Bhagavad Gita will reveal itself to us. Krishna is within our hearts. He will reveal himself. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, if one worships me, using his intelligence to understand, this is worshipping him with your intelligence. So mundane scholarship, we're just having an academic viewpoint to understanding Bhagavad Gita, will remain a mystery, because you're just doing it as an intellectual exercise, as an academic exercise. So Krishna will not reveal to you. But if he sees your submissive mood of respect and your at least waylaying your doubts, or suspending your disbelief, as it were, at least he will recognize that you are being sincere enough to try to understand it, and he will reveal himself to you. So this is the spirit of devotion we have to inculcate, at least, to begin to understand Bhagavad Gita. So I hope that I've explained that properly and clearly to you, how important it is. Srila Prabhupada says that philosophy without emotion is dry knowledge, dry gyan, There's no rasa, relationship. We want to avoid that, where we just have it as a intellectual exercise. And he also says the reverse of that sentiment without philosophy, religion without philosophy is mere sentiment, whimsical. Today I love Krishna, tomorrow I don't, So both are important. Religion with philosophy is not sentimental, and and sentiments with religion with philosophy without some emotion there, devotion there, is dry knowledge. So we have to balance the two. And I think hopefully the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita will be revealed to us if we have the right mood, just like Arjuna, and have the right, at least, concept of trying to understand Krishna, who is so difficult to understand. So thank you very much for listening. Hope I've explained that, and have a wonderful day, auspicious and good day.